Before we begin, please be advised that this show may contain some adult themes and language that may not be suitable for all listeners. Now, on to our show. Welcome to the Sippin Saga Society, where we cover histories, mysteries, and weird-ass shit. As always, we have Christina and Nevada with us, and I just discovered that I have a new microphone, so yay. By discovered, I mean I impulse bought it, and I'm in love with it, so that's why I sound better, hopefully.
You do. You sound great.
I think it sounds amazing. Today, I finally have made it to drinking my hard Mountain Dew. I found it, guys. It was still in my fridge. So we'll try that now. What are you sipping on today, Nev?
Okay, I got a really good smoothie earlier and I drank it on the way back home. So I
Okay.
have water.
Christina, what you drinking?
A Dr. Pepper. And then I also have this aloe vera drink
Ooh,
that has the chunks in it. It's like one of my favorite things.
ew.
Rita.
I feel like I
You
need
I
to
lost
go.
love
me at
it.
chunks.
Yeah, you
I
did. You
love
were.
it. I get those like drinks that have like chia seeds and stuff in it. And I don't know. I really like it.
I don't know how I feel about this Mountain Dew. I have no idea. It just
Good?
does. It doesn't. I don't know.
Hmm.
And it came out of the fridge, so it was cold. Well, whatever. So now everyone knows they make hard Mountain Dew. Regular flavor. They don't make like the Code Red yet or anything. I did one time try the what is it called? Arizona tea ones. I did not care for that either.
They have hard ones?
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
They hurt my tummy. I just emptied it. If you have any drinks, you as in the person listening, have any drinks that you recommend for us, let us know. And if we can find it, I will 100% try it because I like to live on the edge. So yeah. Today, our topic is actually a special episode topic. No, it's not aloe vera beverage, Christina. It's the Olympics,
Really good, by the way.
Mm-mm.
the aloe vera beverage. Is it the
Yeah.
chunks? Is it the chunks? Do they
It's
give
all
it
of it.
flavor?
It
Not the
kind of
chunks.
does.
I say
They're
that, but I like boba.
spongy.
I like boba.
Yeah, it's
They
not
have
too
chunks.
different. But yay for the Olympics. What's the tea? What are we talking about?
Well, I didn't know because the Olympics are 124 years old, so there's a whole lot. No, it's like 128 years old. So there's a lot of history. There's a lot of like firsts and big things. But I did want to cover a few fun stories that I found. I used the book Total Olympics by Jeremy Fuchs, and I highly recommend it. I only really am covering a couple of stories that were in that book, and there's so much in there that is super fun and like things that you would not even expect or think about, and I really enjoyed it. I also use the Olympics website. They have all of the things on there. They have a lot of frequently asked questions or pretty much anything that you can think of regarding the Olympics. And I also use the history.com website, page on Olympic Games. So that was about it. So what are the Olympics? They are a 16 day-long sporting event with an opening and closing ceremony. Because I was like, why did I think it was 18 days? But yes, because the opening ceremony is day one, essentially. And then they have a closing ceremony. So the hosting of the Olympics is an expensive endeavor because you have to build stadiums, housing, facilities. You have to put on this big show. Celine Dion was at the opening ceremonies for this Paris 2024 Olympics, and I was like, how much was that going to cost? Because that woman's been like in retirement for forever
How much did it cost?
to pay. I don't know. I didn't look up that
You
one.
didn't Google it?
I didn't. You want to Google it?
I'm gonna Google it.
How much did they pay Celine Dion at the Olympic openings? That thing was weird. I watched most of it. It was weird. My French are weird. Sorry. I'm gonna get hate for the rest of my life for
Art
that. But
art is weird.
I mean, I'm weird. I can't say anything. I'm literally looking at the art that I have in my office, and I'm like, what am I talking about? I'm weird.
Colton and I had that conversation before. Like the best art is typically the weirdest
Mm-hmm.
or by a weird ass person. Like it's like,
All but all but the shit in a can by that one guy.
yeah.
That
Do you
is
think
not.
they have any in like museums at all?
I think they do. They have one, I think, at the Museum of Modern Art. I'm pretty sure. Whatever.
Eh,
You know what? That is a trip that I would go on. To go see the poop can, I would go see the poop can.
Okay, Cosmopolitan says the claim is that she is making $2 million
That's a good chunk.
because also her travel, which included jets, boats, and other expenses.
I love that she came by boat at some point. Get on the
Hmm.
boat, Christina. We're going to the Olympic Games.
I get motion sickness.
Oh, you can't go on a boat then.
That's
So,
awful.
If it's a big boat, I can. If it's a little boat, unsure.
that's ruining all my plans. I thought we were going to get on a raft and just get on over there.
Well, I can just throw up on the side of the boat. I'll be all
You
right.
and your
So
chunks.
you'll be so
Me and
miserable,
my
dude.
chunks.
So, I have a little like tiny list of the top three most expensive Olympic hosting events, like how much
Mhm.
money the country spent to host the Olympics. Number one is Sochi in 2014, which was $49.96 billion to host the Olympics. Number two is Beijing in 2008. They spent $42.58 billion. And number three is Athens in 2004, spending 18.22 billion. I love that jump because it went from 49, 42 to 18. The pros and cons of hosting, some research has shown that playing host provides an advantage when it comes to winning medals. In the Summer Games from 1952 to 2012, all but two hosting countries improved their medal count when they became the host country. In 1904, Britain won just two medals because they were in America, but in 4 years, when the games were in London, they won 146 medals
Hmm.
compared to like when they were in America. I think that's so crazy. So there's just like a few little things on hosting. I mean, there are a lot of controversies on hosting the Olympics because they are such an expensive sporting event. They're huge,
I think Greece should
international.
do it every time.
Well, I mean, well, and that was the thing is I was talking to a friend of mine about it, and he was like, "Well, what if we did like, well, these countries have already hosted the event. They already have the facilities built. Why don't we just rotate them instead of having to go to a different country every 4 years?" Yeah, because what else is happening to all those resources? Who chooses hosts for the Olympic Games? It's literally just the Olympic Committee. They meet at their session and they choose the host. They vote by secret ballot. Each active member has one vote, and a member must refrain from voting if the election concerns a country where she or he is a national. The IOC is permanently
Same
open.
people
Uh-huh.
that like the committee that like allows celebrities. Like as far as like you know how like Snoop Dogg did the little torch thing. Like
Hmm.
not like celebrities that attend and watch, but like celebrities that are actually a part of it.
I don't remember. I meant to look it up, and I don't remember how like how they pick members for that.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Sorry,
don't.
Nev, go ahead.
That's the
She
one
had
thing I
something
didn't
to.
look. Yeah.
My mic was off, so it doesn't matter. But oh no, so like do they get told like, oh, these are the four we're picking from. Vote on these four.
Yeah, I think
And
so. I
if
think they
you
probably
are
narrow
like
it down.
Switzerland, you don't get to vote.
Yeah, like if I'm like if I was on the
Yeah.
committee and the
Mm.
United States was on the ballot that year, I wouldn't be able to vote for it.
I figured they just put all their names into a hat and then had like a random person pull it out. And
Yeah,
then they did that until all
until
of
we
the
pick
states
one.
got through. Or until all the countries got through,
Every
yeah.
country in the world, until all the countries that wanted to be part of the. Oh
Yep.
my God.
No repeats.
Mm-mm. If a majority is not achieved in the first round of voting, the candidate with the fewest votes is eliminated, and further rounds of voting are held until the majority is held by one candidate. The committee is open to discussions with any cities, regions, or countries and their national Olympic committees in any part of the world who are interested in hosting the games. either the regular Olympics, the Winter Olympics, the Winter Youth Olympics, and the Youth Olympic Games, which I did not even know there were Youth Olympics. So now we know everybody can be in the Olympics. Not me, because I'm not doing it, but everybody else can.
And those like TikToks where it's like me, the reason why I didn't make it to the Olympics, and it's like whoever at like their like gymnastics little competition, or like there was one girl where she was like doing like a high dive off of the little diving board. And she like she meant to do a flip and she jumps and she just goes like falls into the water. And then she goes in her comments, she goes, well, maybe next year.
I know. I did a back roll like 2 days ago, and I was like, winner, success, like success. One back roll.
Those are hard.
Mm-hmm.
A front roll's a bitch.
I can do this
Right.
many.
No, you could probably do it. I trust.
Show me. Stand up and show me.
Look, I have to do it on the floor
Right now with the microphone.
and the headphones on. Bring the computer with you.
Bring the camera.
New Olympic sport. Camera back roll. So, where do the games come from? The first evidence, written evidence, so they may have been going on before this, of the official games dates back to 776 BC, when the Greeks began measuring time in Olympiads, or the duration between each edition of the Olympic Games. Imagine you start a sport and you're like, we're going to start measuring time with how many times we play this game. The first Olympic Games were held every 4 years in honor of the god Zeus. In 393 AD, the Roman Emperor Theodosius I banned the Olympic Games for religious reasons because they were claiming that it encouraged people to be pagan, and that's why they were like, no more. Heathens. You don't get
We'll be
sports.
shitting on pagans all the time, I feel like.
Leave the pagans alone.
Leave the pagans. We're just grateful about the trees, man, and you're just so
Okay.
mad for nothing.
Yeah.
To dance naked in the woods. Leave us be.
Just let us be naked and outside. What is
God
wrong
damn
with that? So the sports were not revived. Damn, that's amazing. Imagine though creating something so memorable and so like, I feel like it is such a amazing thing that the whole world gets together to do this one thing. And imagine it being such a big deal that you created something that thousands of years later, people try to recreate it. Like, I think that is a very impressive thing. So in 1890, a baron from France, Pierre de Coubertin, traveled the world and ended up meeting William Penny Brooks, a doctor living in the city of Wenlock in England. The doctor had studied in London, Italy, and Paris. This is William Penny Brooks, the doctor living in Wenlock, England. He was a learned man who believed in the melding of healthy body and mind. Dr. Brooks felt that the mind was only working at its full capacity when the body was healthy as well, which, I mean, makes sense in my head. If the body is good, the brain is good, and vice versa. It is a balance. We are not just one thing. It was his idea, Dr. Brooks, to create a competition to promote the moral, physical, and intellectual improvement of the inhabitants of the town of Wenlock. The first Wenlock Olympian Games featured soccer, cricket, and quoits, a game where you throw rings around a peg. The prize was a pound of tea because it's England. The Wenlock Games became a yearly event. Brooks would go on to establish the National Olympian Association, which held similar events across England. Coubertin, the Baron, organized the world's first Congress on Physical Education and Scholar competition, and he wanted to learn about physical education, so he put out an ad in the newspaper.
Smart, I guess.
But I thought about it and I was like, there's no Google. What are you going to do if you want to learn about things?
Grab a book. Find somebody who knows something. Ask your
Right.
granddad.
How else are you going to ask people who knows things but putting an ad in the paper and just hoping somebody reads it? Hope some guy finds this.
Some guy.
So that's how he received a response from Dr. Brooks, and that's how he met him and ended up going to visit the town of Wenlock. So he traveled to watch the Wenlock Games, And there, Dr. Brooks and Coubertin began planning the next Olympic Games, planning an Olympic
Lucky.
society. I know. How
That's really
imagine
lucky. Yeah.
that he just managed to find this guy who also
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
into this.
Into the same things.
hmm Before the internet.
Who knew?
hmm So they began to create and plan a society that was to make a prize available to the most outstanding feats of strength and skill. Coubertin took the ideas from Wenlock and Dr. Brooks and applied them to the first modern Olympics. Unfortunately, Dr. Brooks died just a few months before the games began, so he didn't ever get to see in person his games come to fruition, like
Oh,
internationally.
he would love it here.
I think he would. Maybe not America, but the Olympics for sure. The first Olympics, the first modern Olympics, were held in Athens, Greece in 1896. In the opening ceremony, King Georgios I and a crowd of 60,000 spectators welcomed 280 participants from 12 nations. They were all male. They would be competing in 43 different events, including track and field, gymnastics, swimming, wrestling, cycling, tennis, weightlifting, shooting, and fencing. The winners were given laurel wreaths and the medals, which had Nike, the Greek goddess of victory, emblazoned on them. And today, some of the medals that are given out also have the same emblem on them,
Oh,
which I thought was nice, a nice little nod. All subsequent Olympiads have been numbered even when no games take place. So they still name the numbers from that first Olympic one. So every 4 years, it's considered like an Olympics, even if they don't happen.
oh,
So they didn't happen in 1916 during World War I or 1940 or 1944 during World War II, which makes sense. We were busy.
yeah.
The official symbol of the modern games is 5 interlocking colored rings representing the continents of North and South America, Asia, Africa, Europe, and Australia. The Olympic flag featuring this symbol on a white background flew for the first time at the Antwerp Games in 1920. The Olympics truly took off as an international sporting event after 1924 when I had to read what the Roman numerals were.
That's
Eighth, the 8th Games were held in Paris. Some 3,000 athletes, with more than 100 women among them, from 44 nations competed that year, and for the first time, the games featured a closing ceremony. So the first one did have an opening ceremony, and it wasn't until 1924 that they decided to close the games. So I guess once the games were over, they were like, okay, go home. Get the fuck out.
bye.
Leave. The Winter Olympics debuted in 1924 as well. So when they started, it was only the Summer Games. These were events including figure skating, ice hockey, bobsledding, and a biathlon. 80 years later, when the 2004 Summer Olympic Games returned to Athens for the first time in more than a century, that is amazing. So the first games started in Athens, and 180 years later, they were like, we should go back. In a gesture that joined both ancient and modern Olympic traditions, the shot put competition that year was held at the site of the classical games in Olympia in Greece. Imagine like doing shot put where people used to shot put in
All
ancient
of the
Greece. Like
I was gonna say that's almost nostalgic. That's super cool.
it like amazing.
ethereal. Like honestly, like I'm like the energy that you would probably feel. Just like
What if you
ancient
like
Romans used to, or Greeks used to shuffle their feet on the same space. And
exactly
then,
one of these rocks they touched, I'm sure.
yeah, absolutely. Maybe the one I'm using. No, probably not.
The
But
rock I'm using in my hand touched a butt once. This was their toilet paper.
uh,
Don't worry, guys. The toilet paper episodes are coming. I just wanted to put this one out first because the Olympics are still happening, so we should talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
Women
how-
in sports. These are my titles, by the way, for these sections that I've made up. This is my title. Women in sports with their uteruses? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
with their uteruses.
They're attached inside?
Were
Paris?
they?
Well, women weren't allowed in the first Olympic Games. I don't know if they weren't allowed or they just weren't invited. Probably both the same. Women shouldn't be out in public anyway. So,
Yeah, they shouldn't be doing anything.
mm-mm.
Cooking dinner, please.
I don't even do that. Um, the
Not
Paris
me.
The 1900 Paris Olympic Games saw women compete for the first time. The first female Olympic champion was Charlotte Cooper, a British tennis player who won Wimbledon 5 times. Out of a total of 997 athletes, 22 were women. According to the Olympic Charter, the Olympic Committee's role is to encourage and support the promotion of women in sports at all levels and in all structures, with the view of implementing the principle of equality of men and women. Female participation in the Olympic Games has increased dramatically since the 1900s. In the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games, 48.9% of the athletes were expected to be women, as opposed to the 23% of athletes in the 1984 Games. That is crazy. So in 1984, there were only
Major.
23% of athletes that were women. I just feel like that's crazy. In 1964, at the Tokyo Games, only 13% of athletes were women.
So it decreased?
No. 1964, 13.
1964.
1984 was 23. I'm going backwards for some reason. And then this year is the
How many?
first year that 50% of athletes have been women.
Oh. Only 50?
50, I know.
What happened to the future as women? Woman.
Okay, but we started behind already, Nev. Let us try to get there.
Hmm.
Just a few changes throughout the year. In 1904, Olympic Games in St. Louis, Missouri were the first to distribute gold, silver, and bronze medals. And also included the first known disabled athlete to compete in the Olympic Games, George Iser. He won 6 medals in gymnastics, 3 of which were gold.
Wait, in the Special Olympics or
Nope, in the regular Olympics.
well, good for him.
I did not look up the history of the Paralympics, and I probably should have. Might be a different episode.
I don't know if special was the right word. Nobody come for me, please.
The Olympic Games in Stockholm of 1912 were the first to include competitors from all 5 continents represented by the Olympic rings. It was also the year that women made their debut in swimming events, but also, what's her name? Katie Ledecky?
I don't know who that is.
She's a swimmer and she's kicking ass. All the memes are hot about Katie Ledecky right now.
Is she gay?
I don't know. I don't mean
Hmm.
hot like sexual. I mean like she's on fire because she's swimming so fast. There was one that I saw that was like my favorite Olympics sport right now is seeing how the pool looks empty because Katie Ledecky is so ahead of everybody else. She's
Damn.
amazing. She's good.
She's a
That's
dolphin.
crazy, honestly. Like that's
I
super
wonder-
cool.
I wonder if she's Dolphin Girl's child.
No, 'cause she seems more normal than that.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
I'm stoked. I'm gonna have to look her up now.
I saw this meme or this tweet, and it says the thing about the 1500-meter swim is that it offers a really, really long time to be alone with your thoughts in the pool, knowing there's absolutely nothing you could possibly do to catch Katie Ledecky. It just got me. I
No
was like,
hope. There's no
"Mm-mm-mm.
hope. No one.
You're just sitting here swimming with your thoughts because you suck." I like,
Yeah.
not you suck. I mean, and these are Olympians. Like, they're amazing, but not as good as Katie. The Olympic Games were held for the second and third times ever in France, in Chamonix. That is not the way you say it. That's the way it's spelled. From January to February for the first ever Winter Olympic Games, then in Paris again in the summer. The Olympic motto of Citius Altius Fortius, faster, higher, stronger, used by Pierre de Coubertin since 1896 and taken from the priest Henry Didon, was also highlighted that year. I actually really like that quote, faster, higher, stronger.
Isn't that a song?
Probably. That's I think a Kanye song.
Work it, do it. What makes you stronger, faster? I don't know. I feel like Black Eyed Peas.
No, I think it's Kanye.
I love Kanye.
If you know who sings that song or what the song is, let us know. But I think that'd be a really cool tattoo anyway.
A
Faster,
picture of
higher,
Kanye?
Yes, but also the words in Latin, faster, higher, stronger.
Yes.
Oh,
We
the
should do
song that he did with Daft Punk.
Yes.
I think it's just
Do
called
what
Stronger.
makes you.
Yes,
Do what
stronger.
makes
Mhm.
you stronger, faster. I don't know. Okay.
The Paris Olympic Games of 1924 were the first to build an Olympic village, which has become customary at every game since. So that's where all the athletes stay, and that's where they were all like on Tinder and matching up with each other and hooking up. And now they don't get to have regular beds and they have to have cardboard beds because they were having too much sex.
They
That
do
is not,
that. Like I heard that, I forgot who it was from, but someone told me like, oh yeah, you know, the Olympics, like they just hand out like condoms pretty much for like to everyone because everyone was just, I mean, obviously like they, not saying that they don't have time, you know what I mean? But I'm sure they're training and
They
everything, and
got
they pretty much
time.
said when they're there, you know, they're around everyone, and so,
and
Also,
it's hot, strong people.
hmm
imagine being around a bunch of like really fit people. I don't know. You being a fit person
Well,
could
and
be
then it,
fun.
like for me, like I respect the hustle. I respect the hustle I know, like the struggle I know, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
And so if I'm watching someone be like the best athlete they can be, like that is so attractive to me. And I would be like, "Oh my God, these are the best of the best." Like
I would want to sleep with you personally.
it- like you could not be I mean, I've been watching shot putting.
Like you could throw me.
Shot putting? Well, and that's the thing is that like I've also been seeing a lot of the memes and I share them like, there's not one perfect body type. These are the best of the best
That's
athletes in
my
the world. And
favorite.
they all look different. And that's, I mean, it's true for the women and the men, but I was like, I'm watching cycling. We all know how I feel about cycling. If you don't, I'm madly in love with it for no reason. I've been obviously watching cycling. I'm very attracted to those athletes for different reasons. And then I'm watching shot
Yeah.
putting. People look completely different. And I'm still like, oh my God.
Karina, you
Yes.
remind it's like Hannah, my friend Hannah had sent me this meme. She's like, this is basically your type. And it's like based off personality because there's no like actual type. It's just like I admire what you do,
Yes.
whether you're funny or whatever your art is.
Mm-hmm.
That's my muse.
Well, it's just
hmm
like you being confident in yourself and knowing
Oh,
who you are
ex
Oh yeah.
point.
and working to be better. Like that is like, oh my gosh, I'm going
Top.
to lock you in a closet.
It got me in a
Exactly.
chokehold.
Keep me, please.
I am the shot put. Throw me. Throw me across a room. Don't do that. I will get mad and hit you. Christina. You didn't say no. Oh
I
my God.
didn't.
No. Okay.
Come here. Come on.
That's scary.
Ow.
I did want to touch on a very serious topic. And okay, Neb, we had this discussion in the poll episode about doping.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a word used for, I'm glad I found this out 15 episodes later. It is used for like basically performance enhancing drugs.
Tell me about it.
Performance enhancing drugs have always been around. Even the world of British endurance walking had their share of drugs for performance enhancement. They took
Wait,
opium and nitroglycerin to stay awake and improve their breathing. And I typed, like,
wait, opium and nitroglycerin? What?
I get the
Okay.
nitroglycerin as a vasodilator, but opium,
Oh,
like to,
see,
because when you're having a heart attack, that's what they give you.
talk
You
to
take
me more,
nitroglycerin to open
smart
up
girl.
I
your
know
vessels.
nothing about nothing, girl.
She just used like not
Okay.
layman terms. This girl, she
Okay.
said,
She same.
listen here, I'm educated.
Oh.
I
No,
literally okay, I
tell
literally
me
sent
more.
I literally sent a voice message like 2 days ago, yesterday, being like, I don't think I'm that smart. I just think I'm reasonable. Anyway, so yeah, but the thing was with opium, it's a like you're gonna go to sleep. Like that doesn't make any sense. How's this gonna help your breathing? Anyway, apparently the British endurance walking is real intense. The book
Like
was like,
camping.
don't judge it. And I was like, okay, I'm not, but it's weird. And so in 1960, Nude and Mark Jensen, a Danish cyclist, died at the 1960 Games in Rome because he was dizzy in the 104-degree heat, collapsed during a time trial road race, and hit his skull on the pavement. He never woke up, and an autopsy showed that he had amphetamine and roniacol administered by his trainer. So 8 years later, that's when they first started drug testing at the 1968 games in Mexico City. Because this guy had died and they were like, oh, we should probably do something about this. We should probably not let people do drugs.
Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
But now people are getting in trouble for smoking weed. And I'm like,
That's not performance enhancing.
okay.
To do that with Shakari.
Oh,
Richardson.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm
Man,
like,
that girl can run. Oof.
dude,
I know the nails make her faster. I know that's
they
true. That
have
And
has to
they're
be said.
fabulous too.
I just
They are,
love how authentic she is. Like, I feel like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think that's really valuable. And I don't think the Olympics are just trying to shut her down because she's good.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
she's fucking good.
I love her.
And also, isn't there a rapist among them right now? And
Yes,
he's
he raped
allowed
a
to fucking,
12-year-old child.
and he's just allowed. And then it's like,
That
excuse
that's
me?
well, and that's the thing. When you become a sport and you're an athlete in this, I think you have to agree to be like no drugs. And I'm like, but this guy can be rapey?
You can rape the youth. That's fine.
I don't
Don't
think.
do weed.
Yes, exactly. Now that's an issue.
Mhm.
Some weird stories because I said so is the topic of this subject line. I don't know. I wrote this all sober, which I don't think is better.
I'm like, interesting. Were you high?
No, I wasn't. So this guy, this story's weird, okay? It's so fucked up. Shizu Kanakuri in the 1912 games in Stockholm was a top marathoner from Japan and endured an 18-day journey by boat and railway to reach Stockholm. So that's when the games were going to start, right? In 1912.
Mm-hmm.
He gets there, and it was Japan's first trip to the Olympics. The team manager fell ill, and it was Kanakuri's job to take care of him, and he ended up taking care of him more than he did training. So the day of the race, it was super hot, and 34 out of the 68 runners that day suffered from overheating. So midway through the race, Kanakuri was drifting in and out of consciousness, and as he ran through the village of Turiberg, he noticed people drinking orange juice in the garden where he stopped and mingled for an hour. So he's doing this marathon race, and he's like, it's hot as balls out here. These people are drinking orange juice. I'm going to hang out with them. He mingled for an
Okay.
hour and may have even spent the night. And then the next day, he just took the first boat back to Japan. He just left. He was like, whatever, fuck it. Japanese officials were embarrassed because he didn't finish the race. And a Japanese representative wrote in his diary, which that tickled me because I was like, imagine writing this in your diary, being so upset about it. You're like, that fucking bitch.
He ain't shit.
He wrote that Kanakuri brought shame to the country because he never finished the race. He just went home.
Shame on you. Shame on your family.
Yes,
Shame on your
exactly.
cow.
Dude, that
Well,
would be me because I would like fucking forget. You know what I mean? Like I'd be doing some shit and be like, oh, I gotta go home. And then just fucking go home.
Christina, this is not a trip to Marshall's. This is an Olympic race.
I
This
would
is
fuck
your
it up, man.
this is your country's first opportunity at like Olympic fame. You're running and
You
you're
have
like,
one job,
one opportunity,
one
one
opportunity.
chance,
She
whatever.
fucking went home. Like they would be,
She
She
said,
gone.
fuck it.
they'd be like, don't fucking come back. Go somewhere else.
So Sweden didn't know that Kanakuri had made it back to Japan. Nobody told them. See your face killing me.
Oh my gosh. So they're just going at it. They're like,
They're
we
just
gotta
like,
keep going. We gotta.
I don't know where he went. So they put him on a missing persons list,
Oh,
and
stop.
Swedish officials couldn't find him for more than 50 years, despite the fact that he finished 16th in the 1920 games. So he went back to the Olympics and then competed again in 1904 in Paris. Finally, in 1967, the Swedish National Olympic Committee tracked him down. So they finally figured out he wasn't dead or missing and invited him to celebrate the 55th anniversary of the 1912 games. Kanakuri was asked to complete the race to raise funds for Swedish athletes, with his official time totaling 54 years, 8 months, 6 days, 5 hours, 32 minutes, and 20 seconds. And I thought that was such a fun story. That
That
was
was
cute.
funny.
I'm like, dude, imagine 30 years later. There was also a story where this guy was like racing and it was like the kayaking in the water, and a family of ducks starts crossing his path. So he's like going, 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 and this family of ducks is like, we're gonna walk right here. We're gonna cross right here in the river. And so the man stops and he's just waiting for the family of ducks to go by. And I think a different racer just like went through the family of ducks. So once the ducks had gone by, this guy catches up to the other guy and then ends up winning gold. Because he was like, no, the ducks matter. And his son later goes, no, he knew he could win. If he would have thought he was gonna lose, he would have gone straight through those ducks.
Oh, that's funny.
I thought it was cute.
I love the confidence
I
though,
know.
honestly.
It's like, I get it. It's fine. I'm not worried about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
In 1960, Abebe Bikila attracted the world's attention by being the first East African to win a medal and running the whole event barefoot.
Oh, wow.
I know. I think it was a marathon. So he ran the whole thing. And then in 1964, he did the same thing and he won again.
You gotta
This,
have strong feet. I mean, not everyone can be barefoot, you know?
Well, I mean, if that's the thing though, is that that's how you train. That's how you're going to
Mhm.
perform the
Oh,
best.
yeah.
How you train.
Mm-hmm.
So our last little section of the Olympics is discontinued sports. Womp womp.
Like ones that didn't make it.
No, Christina, the ones
Oh.
that we did once or twice and they were like, no more, we don't want to do that one. There's some
Oh,
gems.
I
So
want to
the
know.
first one is club swinging. So the
Like
clubs,
dancing?
no,
Like I was thinking of the
Like
like swing
swingers?
dance.
no,
No.
like you take these clubs. It started in
No,
India.
stop.
They're Indian clubs similar to bowling pins, they were exercise equipment. And so that you would get them and swing them like one or two around your head and shoulders. And
Wow.
it appeared twice. It appeared in
Yeah.
1904 and 1932.
I
And so
thought you were talking about swing dance, and then I
no.
thought you were talking about
I was like, okay, if
So
it's not
so
swing
swingers.
dancing.
so you just stand there and your arms and you're just like, woo.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I guess I could see why like it didn't make it, I guess. Like,
It didn't stay. Yeah, they only did
yeah.
it twice. And okay, so then the next
Imagine
discontinued
how
sport.
like being really good at it, being like, damn,
I'm
that
really
was
good
my
at
one
swinging the
shot.
pole.
That was my one shot, and they took it away from me.
I know. Well, they were like little bowling pin things. It's a
Oh,
good
that's
sport.
interesting.
But apparently most of the winners were Americans. Like America was really good at this.
Huh.
That's the one thing we've got going for us. We've got sport and that's it. So another sport was the swim obstacle. It's a 200 meters, but there's also three obstacles that you have to go over in those 200 meters. So you're swimming and you have to climb over a pole and then you have to pull yourself up and over a row of upside down boats in the water and then swim under another row of boats. And that was another sport that did not make it.
Hmm.
The one of them is tandem bicycling. So it's 2,000 meters on a bike for two people, and it appeared in 1908, 1920, and 1972. But it is still a sport in the Paralympics where the front rider can see and the back cyclist is visually impaired. This is
Oh.
my
Yeah.
eyes.
Mm-hmm.
This one was my favorite, or one of my favorites, I guess. Plunge for distance. It appeared only once in 1904 in St. Louis, but basically you dive in the water and that's it. And then you float and that's it. You don't move. You don't move. You
Like,
dive in the
see how
water.
far you can dive, and that's
You,
it.
you dive in the water
Mm-hmm.
and you float without moving any part of your body in 60 seconds. And they measure how far you go.
Huh.
So you float and you lay there. And it was wildly mocked widely mocked because it required neither skill or any ability of any kind.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Because you just jump in and then you're just
Can you
there.
imagine all the people shit talking? You know he ain't got no talent doing that. You know.
You know he sucks.
You know,
What
yeah,
if you
yeah.
use that as like slander? Like the only thing you'd be useful for is
It's
some
plunge
like
for distance.
this is the
I'm
only
not
thing you're good at.
exactly. That's the one skill you've got. In 1906, they had pistol dueling as a sport in the Olympics. They shot dummies that had coats on. It was dueling.
Huh.
Cute. Anyway, they also had firefighting as a sport.
Oh.
They did two competitions, amateur and professional, and it only appeared in the 1900 games. So like the second games in Paris.
Hell
A
yeah.
few other honorable mentions of sport that did not make it for long is live pigeon shooting, auto racing, rope climbing. It appeared in 5 different Olympics and it may appear again in different, like in a different type of sport, if that makes sense. Dumbbells, solo synchronized swimming, just by yourself, synchronized swimming. I guess who you
Okay,
synchronizing with?
I did watch the synchronized
No,
swimming and
no,
holy fuck.
right, but by yourself? Just one guy or a girl? Like, I think that's the thing with synchronized swimming. There's more than one. There's just like a bunch of them doing shit.
You
Like
got
they're
to
together.
for the
Right.
illusion of
But
it,
it's
right?
just like, oh, there's Jessica doing her shit again.
She's playing mermaids in the fucking water.
Like,
Weird bitch.
like who you synchronizing with?
Oh, you can't see them?
That's some sport that people are good at and I could never do, and I'm just judging. Anyway. Tug of war was also a sport, which
That's
I
a
think
fun
would be
one.
fun.
That would be a lot of fun, I feel like.
Ski ballet. You ski and you have 90 seconds to do whatever you want in the snow.
How do you do that with the thing? The skis are long.
I don't know.
Which skiing? Oh,
Jumping,
dude,
ski ballet.
that's fucking sick, dude.
I mean, I know. I think it'd be cool, but I don't know how you would do it. I know
You like torn ACLs?
I like
Oh.
my
I got
body
the sport
parts.
for you.
I don't want them torn. I want them connected to each other. I'm not trying to break anything. So,
Not
and
today, anyway.
no, not right now. What are you trying to break, Ned? So that is my tiny little baby version, little history lesson on the Olympics. I just thought it was fun. I didn't know a lot of this information. I didn't understand most of it, and I didn't know anything really about the Olympics until now. But I think it's because it's the first year that I've actually cared. So, and I was like, what is this? You know what? It was like a rabbit hole because I went into the tour and now I'm like, oh, Olympics exist. And now here I am.
I love this journey for you.
It's weird.
Yeah, I do too.
So the book Total Olympics had a fun little quote that I would like to read out loud. And I really highly recommend that book if you're into the Olympics because I think it has a lot of fun stories. And they refer to Ryan Lochte as the ultimate bro-Olympian. And I was like, that's so weird.
Me.
You're the ultimate bro-Olympian, Christina?
Look at
That's a
her.
nice play on words.
That's cute. So a quote from the Total Olympics books was, each Olympics is a mishmash of 1,000 little stories, all making up a glorious 2-week adventure. And multiply those thousands of stories by 51 Olympiads over 122 years, and you get a collection of sports stories unlike any other. The Olympics aren't just about global glory, they're about people, talented and flawed people. And I absolutely love that quote because I think especially this year we've seen, like with Simone Biles, specifically the gymnastic teams, like women coming back. Women, which are, we finally just become like the first, we're equal to the men in capacity. Like women coming back from mental health issues, like working through it, working through health problems. Like I know that there's some, like one of the fencers, from somewhere is pregnant, is a doctor, and she like won silver or gold or something. She medaled in fencing. And I'm like, we're doing the most. We are all here doing our best. And I think that is like a really great reminder that people from all over the world go through the same struggles and are going through the same thing. And I'm like, I just love that about the Olympics, that it's not just one person living one life, not connected to anybody else. And like we get to showcase this and um bond over sport and art and all make fun of France for being fucking weird together. And I find that really beautiful.
So what was going on with the water?
With the water, I don't know.
You saw
I
those memes, right? Where the water was like supposed to be super gross, contaminated, and I was
Well,
like,
that's the thing
swimwear?
is I saw something about how France had been spending billions of dollars in making the in cleaning the fucking river, and it's
Yeah.
still the E. coli levels were still high. I literally just before we got on saw something about Belgium pulling out of the triathlon or something because they were going to make them swim in the river and they didn't want them to swim in the river.
Oh, smart. Because I saw you share a meme and it was like them getting sick after they were forced to swim in the water. And you're like, who is forcing this? It's like, I could not.
I don't know. I'm not a sport person in the Olympics, but I would rather wait. I don't know what my condition's going to be in 4 years, but I'd rather wait 4 years and try to swim in clean water than swim in that fucking filth water.
Yeah. And what? Get sick, die?
And well,
Ugh.
yeah, because what if I swim there and I definitely won't be able to do it
Mm-mm.
anyway.
France biffed it.
I know. And that's so sad. I'm like, y'all should have been cleaning this river from the beginning. Maybe we shouldn't have let it get this gross. Hmm.
You sound like a mom.
Maybe if you would have
Yeah.
cleaned your room, we wouldn't be having these issues.
Every time. Little bit.
I know. Anyway, so yeah, that is our episode on the Olympics. If there's anything you want to learn about next week or, in the subsequent feature, let us know on any of our social media at Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at Sippin Saga Society.
Share your thoughts.
Share your thoughts. Do a review so that people know that we are here. Share with your friends. Tell them about
Please.
toilet paper. Do
If
the
you
Lord's
care
work.
about your friends' bathroom habits, share us with
Also,
them.
I just found out people don't wash hands. Some people don't wash their hands after going to the bathroom.
Are
And
they
if that's
poor?
no, they're just like in public refusing to wash their hands.
That's me.
Ugh,
I don't like their soap. I'll use hand sanitizer, but
that's fine, but I mean, you're cleaning your hands.
yeah, not with
Before
their soap
touching other
though.
things.
Yeah, but you're not like going to the bathroom and just being like, I refuse to wash my hands even in my own home.
No.
I saw a meme like
I
that.
actually prefer to just lick my hands, and then rub them aggressively on my pants.
And then proceed to touch everything in my house afterwards.
In public. I prefer to do that at public restaurants.
That's sick. And I never want to hear about it again. Anyway, please wash your hands and have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.